If you were having trouble scheduling your second shot, you can now go into VAMS. Please go into the system.
When Governor Chris Sununu briefs New Hampshire on COVID-19, David Kruger is right by his side, translating critical information for the deaf community. But David himself can't hear a word the governor says.
I received my information not from the original speaker, but from the hearing interpreter.
David is deaf. What you don't see when he's on camera are two hearing interpreters in the back of the room feeding David the information.
When I look at them to get my feed, I will be looking at the camera so that the audience can actually feel like I'm looking at the audience.
David relies on Jody Lafort and Maura Fay, both whom studied American Sign Language in college.
It has to come to our ears first. We have to hear and understand it. We have to translate it into ASL, and David has to see it and understand it. So it's faster than you might think.
It's not a one-for-one language, so there's not one sign for one English word.
Interpreting live broadcasts is a first for all three, who now make up the governor's main team.
First month or two, I was totally wiped out. I was wet from sweating. I was working so hard.
David wasn't used to the rapid pace. The bulk of his work is one-on-one as a medical interpreter. Nothing like the pressure of translating vital information to an entire state watching live.
I mean, it's not like I can say, wait a minute, give me some time, let me reinterpret it. It just happened so fast.
His expressions may seem dramatic, but each movement is essential to the language.
Suppose I want to ask you a question, a yes-no question. I raise my eyebrows.
70% of ASL is conveyed through facial expressions. What you see on David's face is grammar. Opening his mouth, tilting his head, shifting his eyes, puffing his cheeks, all impart meaning.
The governor just announced that there's an increase in 10%. So see my mouth, what I'm doing now? 10% is not a big one, so I don't open my mouth, but I puff my cheeks out and I make my hands further apart. That means more than before.
Deafness runs in David's family. One of his brothers is deaf, so is a cousin, but none of his three sons are hard of hearing. David graduated from the Rochester Institute of Technology with a computer engineering degree. He worked for IBM, but after a few years was laid off. So he started teaching ASL and eventually began interpreting. As a native signer, David's cultural knowledge and nuance help him communicate more clearly and precisely than hearing interpreters for whom ASL is a second language.
It's an incredibly complex language, and when you see David's mouth movements, eye movements, and all of those things come across, that's a fluent user of the language, where ours are somewhat less sophisticated, I guess you would say.
Pre-pandemic, governors rarely used interpreters, but the COVID crisis highlighted the importance of reaching all people.
It almost took a little bit getting used to, because we were on a very small podium, and he would stand right here, right next to me, and some of the motions were quite interpretive, but they work really well.
So well, David has become a media sensation. People drawn to his energy and animated expressions.
A stranger came up and said, he started to gesture to me and say, I saw you on TV. And
Governor Sununu even publicly joked about making him his number 2.
Maybe David could be lieutenant governor. Yeah. I'm kind of serious. I think it'd be phenomenal.
He looked at me and he said, you'll be my lieutenant governor. And I said, yeah, sure, no problem. And we just ad-libbed the whole thing. It was just really funny. And so that's what I really like about our relationship. He's really wonderful. I really love this job.
But during the press conference, it's all business, relaying the governor's message and his emotion.
When he starts talking about children and education, his voice changes. I don't know that. I can't hear it. But that's what Maura and Jody letting me know.
emotion that's missing from closed captioning.
Even if you are fluent in English, it doesn't include tone of voice. It doesn't include, things that we pick up on linguistically. It's strictly words on a screen.
David is an important bridge connecting our community, fostering understanding with a wave of his hand.
There's no doubt that he's a big part of giving people confidence when we come up here and we explain what's happening and why.
There are some people who join the military because they want to serve the country. They feel honored and they feel proud to do that. That's how I feel. I feel like I'm serving my country.